Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mr. Irrelevant, and welcome back to Mr. Irrelevant Plays. Well, before I get into the topic of today's video, I got recognized, once. Um, went into a TFO and someone says, "Thank you, I know redacted." And my response, as you can see here, is a smiley face and good things, I hope. So, look at that. Yay! um... But today I wanted to talk about something a little bit more specific. What is the best ship class? Well, with that being said, I mean, what's your preference? Because some people say that, raiders are the best ship class. Some people will say cruisers are the best ship class. Some people will say carriers are the best ship class, and so on. Well, I would say I was talking with a buddy of mine last night, and honestly, flight deck carriers I would put at the top. Because 5-3, 2 hangar bays. There are many versions of flight deck carrier sectors, even a tier 5 on the Klingon side, which I do own. I like this little potato. I would love to get a T6 version of this thing. It'd be hilarious. But what makes the flight deck carrier among the best? Well, one, it's, 5-3 loadout, which is generally what you do want in a ship. You want as the most of the weapons in the front. And the fact that it has 2 hangar bays sets it apart from dreadnought carriers or just regular carriers. Regular carriers, that are going to be a toss-up between a 3-3 or a 4-2, which one does exist. That I can think of off the top of my head, that is a 4-2 carrier, and that is a Gemini Vanguard carrier, 4-2. But what makes the flight deck the best? Well, I mean, there's many different versions. Like, 10th anniversary bundle comes with the temporal flight deck carrier. You have the standard Zen ships that you can get, 3 of which are command. They're all the same ship. They're just, different skin, I guess you could say. The traits are the same for them. The bridge officer layout is the same for them. And then you have the Cardassian Intel flight deck carrier. There are more. I'll get into that here in a second. So the reason why flight deck carriers are so good and why they're amongst the best is because of the fact that you can run 2 hangar bays, which for a lot of builds is actually really, really good. Especially when you're running Type 7s and Hellbore Light. When you combine the two, well, you're just kicking off. You also have the Herald flight deck carrier, which is a 4-4, so it is a little bit different, but it still has 2 hangar bays, which is huge. You have the promo Discovery Enterprise along with the Klingon variant, which is Miracle Worker. And then there's another one that I'm going to make as like an honorable mention, the Temporal Heavy Dreadnought Cruiser. It's a 4-4, but it also has 2 hangar bays. Before flight deck carriers became a thing, really, it was the J and its variants were the only ships that were stacked the way that they are. I personally do like the J. I actually do kind of like its design. Prefer the Klingon version out of the 3 the most, but a lot of people will say that the J is the ugliest one, and I would disagree. The Spear Builder Dreadnought is, but I digress. But yes, flight deck carriers. Like I said before, you get 2 hangar bays. Most of them, it's 5 in the front, 3 in the back. Some are 4-4, but I've already proven that you don't really need to have 5-3. I did broke 2 mil last night in Nilbina. Here's the parse for it. Just a buddy of mine. And I in a single run. But yes, flight deck carriers. The reason why that they are so good is because of the fact that you can run 2 pets. And generally, you do the Type 7s for the added debuff that they apply, and then when you combine it with Hellbore Light, you get more out of it. And also, you're helping your teammates as well with not only the Type 7s, but also Hellbore Light as well. You can actually give people damage with Hellbore Light using your pets, which is fantastic, as long as you're running Hellbore Light, that is. Yeah, flight deck carriers. I personally don't have a class that I would label as best, but if I were to name one best, it would probably go to flight deck carriers, honestly. You can do a lot with them. You can run cannons, even though, of course, like escorts would do better. Strike-wing escorts would do better with cannons, and so on. Juggernauts would do better with cannons, but you still can run cannons. But the fact that it has 2 hangar bays is huge. Now, as for which flight deck carrier, with the honorable mention of the Temporal Heavy Dreadnought Cruiser, which I would love to have more Heavy Dreadnought Cruisers added to the game. Right now, we only have the one. Which flight deck carrier is the best? Well, that's actually a really good question. A lot of people sit there and say that the Miracle Worker is the best because of the extra console slot. I would even argue that the Legendary one is just as good because with Uncon builds, as y'all know, I've been talking about a lot lately, Temporal is really good with Uncon builds, and this has a lot of Temporal seating. But it does lose that extra console slot. Also, the Cardassian Intel. Intel is also insanely good with Uncon builds. Temporal and Intel both have 3 abilities you can throw on there for Uncon. So, like, there's a lot that goes into it. Also, if you're wanting to do Torp build, I mean, the Tellurite, the Orion, and the Suliban flight deck carriers are really good with that because 2 hangar bays, command seating. Is it the best Torp built in the game? As far from what I've been told, it's not. From what I told, it's the Eagle, but I don't own the Eagle, so I don't know. But there's a lot you can do with flight deck carriers because of the fact that it has 2 hangar bays. Now, the only thing that would make it even more OP is if you were to add a science flight deck carrier with a secondary deflector with the 5-3 loadout or even 4-4 loadout with 2 hangar bays. That would just be too strong. Right now, there's only one carrier in the game that has a secondary deflector. Only one, as far as I'm aware. Yeah, there are many different versions. So, easy access, you have command, and you have intel as the 2 easy ones to get. If you own the 10th anniversary bundle, then you have temporal as well. If you bought the... I'm pretty sure one of the Muds Markets had the Miracle Worker Disco Prize, I think. I can't remember. I really don't pay attention to the Muds bundles that often. The only one that I would go out of my way to get would be the Into Darkness one, just because I really like the Kelvin timeline. Plus, I really want that Kelvin Bird of Prey. Probably my #1 most sought after ship, just because I really like its design. Well, out of all of the flight deck carriers with the heavy dreadnought as like an honorable mention, which one would I label as the best? Well, let me see. Let me see if there is a wiki page or something that has all of the flight deck carriers listed. All right. Oh yeah, that's right. Even the Friendship. I forgot that's flight deck carrier. All right. So luckily there is a... Wait, really? Apparently there's a tier 3 and tier 4 flight deck carrier. I did not know that. Oh, we're getting into it today, boys. Boys and girls. So, here are all of the flight deck carriers being listed as of today. Like I said, Constitution, Miracle Worker, Fleet Tellurite. So, Miracle Worker, Command. The Friendship is also Command, but it has an Intel seating, which is really huge. Legendary, which is Temporal. Command. These 2 are low tiers. All tier 5s and below won't have a specialty seating, unfortunately. Apparently there's another Orion flight deck carrier, which, not gonna lie, I really do like the way that the Orion ships look. I would totally fly that. And it is a 4-4 loadout, which is totally fine. It doesn't have very much in terms of tactical, but not much you can do about that. The D7 Miracle Worker, which is Miracle Worker, Miracle Worker. Wait, it's Miracle Worker Temporal, I forgot. Secondary seating is Temporal. That's no, Command, sorry. Gosh, you can't really tell the difference between Temporal and Command, huh? On these pages. Alright, let's see. You got the Suliban, which is a Command. The Voth flight deck. Let's see, there's a T6 version, which is Command Primary with Miracle Worker Secondary, but it's Lieutenant seating, so I only really get one ability for Uncon. And then the flight deck, the Herald flight deck carrier, which is Intel Primary and Command Secondary. Already showed the Cardassian, so you got a lot of options. What about the, I can't remember what the J, what is the J seating? Oh, Dreadnought. Would help if I actually put in the right thing. There we go. Alright, let's see here. So this is Temporal Primary with a Command Secondary. I went with Command a lot. Alright, so which one would I label as the best? Well, let me see. Well, if you're going for Torps, I would definitely say the Suliban, Orion, since they're easy to get, everyone can get them. But anything with at least a Lieutenant Commander command seat can do really good with those builds, because that's really all you need for concentrated firepower. Let me see here. Alright, so let's go down to Miracle Worker. Miracle Worker has always been labeled as the best primary seating because of the extra console slot, and the Miracle Worker ship ability is actually pretty good. So you have the Constitution, Discovery, plus the D7 Miracle Worker. You have any other? I think those were that's the only one that's actually Miracle Worker primary. Now that I think about it. Secondary seating is Command, so that does kind of stink. But with the Miracle Worker being in the engineering seating, you will have access to 4 Uncon procs just from that alone, which is actually huge. Alright, so let's go to the next one, Temporal / Intel. The Cardassian, the Temporal Heavy Dreadnought, like I said, honorable mention. Those two. Let me see, is there any others from what I can tell? That would be a no. Wait. No, I am missing one. I'm sorry, it's the Herald. Herald, I would consider as Intel primary because it's Intel seating, which is Lieutenant Commander, is its big one. So you have the Temporal Dreadnought, Heavy Dreadnought, you have the Herald Flight Deck Carrier, and you have the Cardassian Flight Deck Carrier. Now, out of these two, obviously the Cardassian has the 5-3 setup, which is what you would really want. Unless you're going for like a pure broadside build. If you're going for pure broadside build, then it really doesn't matter. So let me see. It's Intel both seats. This one's Intel Command. Which one would I put at the top? Well, let's look at both ships. Go ahead and sit here and look at both ships, because we have a unique opportunity here. Sit here and look. Let me go ahead and hide my parse, because that's just in the way. So, out of the design, the Herald is the most unique, but I have a bias when it comes to Vulcan ships, as y'all know, and I also have a bias when it comes to Cardassian ships. I just love them. So, let's see. In terms of hull modifier, the Cardassian has a slightly better hull modifier, and the Herald has a slightly, well, actually a much better shield modifier. The Cardassian has a better turn rate. They both have the same. Actually, no, it even has. Cardassian has just like literally by a 0.01 better impulse modifier. Inertia, the Herald has a higher inertia, which can be really good. Console layout, if you're going for on-con builds, doesn't really matter, but for those that don't do on-con builds, they are exactly the same. 3 tactical, 5 engineering, and 3 science. Now, the Herald does not have any unique mechanics. It doesn't have the Intel mechanic, even though its Intel seating is its, in quotations, primary seating, because in order for a ship to have a mechanic for one of the types, you gotta have it as a commander seat. So it's missing out on that. However, even with that being said, the Intel mechanic, believe it or not, is a lot more useful than I initially thought. Before I was like, why would I ever use this? It's kind of dumb. No, it's really good. Like when you're going up against the Queen in Hive. Let's say you don't have a science character that would normally subnuke the, you know, the feedback pulse that would generally get everyone killed. You can do that with the Intel ship ability. I just learned that recently, and I've been playing this game since before T6 even became a thing. Like, I was here when T6 dropped in Intel was like the first thing ever. And then it was Command. And then Temporal, and so on. So the Intel mechanic has been in the game for a long time, and I only just recently learned it. It's kind of depressing. So both ships have the same mastery. The first mastery is Starship Mastery for... Wait a minute, it's not even telling you. Oh, it's right here. Duh. Absorptive Hull, which increases your physical and kinetic damage resistance. The secondary seating is Rapid Repairs, regenerates 1.25% of your maximum hull every 3 seconds in space. Twice the amount is regenerated out of combat, which is also really good. The third is Quick Deployment, 20% recharge time reduction to launch carrier pets, and then a 50% rank up XP for hangar pets, which is also really, really good for pets. Last one is more survivability, plus 25 all energy damage resistance rating, and plus 25 radiation damage resistance rating. Now let's get into the traits. The Herald trait is not the greatest thing ever. 45.5 hit points every 1 second for 5 seconds upon receiving a shield heal. So for survivability, it's pretty good. Not terrible, but there are better traits out there, of course. Like there are traits that perform better than others. When it comes to the Cardassian flight deck carrier, its trait Calm Before the Storm, I still use in a lot of builds today. It's still a really good trait because it's bonus all damage. So let me explain that trait. All damage after long decay. While in combat, gain 1 Calm Before the Storm every 2 seconds. Each stack of Calm gives plus 5 all damage resistance rating. At 10 stacks, gain Storm for 20 seconds, removes all stacks, 33% fire cycle haste for energy weapons. Bridge officer abilities recharge times at 33% faster. Oh, so sorry, it's damage resistance rating, but you gain fire cycle haste with better cooldowns with your captain abilities, which is pretty dang good. Also, the Cardassian ship has Cloak. which the Herald ship does not. The console for the Herald ship Energy Gateway is actually pretty fun. You gain maximum shield capacity with increased shield healing, and then it creates a like a. I mean, I'm sure y'all fought Heralds. You see that little like blue like cloud thing that spawns that connects to them. It just basically applies shield healing to you and any ally that's within 3 kilometers of it. It's a pretty good one. Now, the Herald fighters, I'm not too familiar with. I haven't really used them too often. I haven't even used the Cardassian ones either. But it comes with 2 Herald anti-proton beams for the basic ones, and then Impact, which I'm assuming is ramming speed of some kind. The elite versions, of course, have way more, as you can see. They even gets a transphasic. Oh no, it's beam overload and impact. Okay. Now for the frigates that come off of this. Wow, there's nothing on there. Okay, looks like I gotta go on there myself. I love these frigates. I think they're fantastic. Extremely underrated when it comes to the hangar bays. When it comes to hangar pets themselves. Oh, here we go. Gets Torp Spread 3. So Suppressive Armaments 1 and Subnautic Carrier Wave 1. Are you kidding me? Okay, yeah, I'm a little speechless. That is insane. Oh, I need to get some of those. Wow. Anyway. So, both of these ships are the Intel flight deck carriers. Which one's better? I mean, I would honestly... Let's also look at the bridge officer layout. I forgot to do that. So, for the Herald, you got a Lieutenant Commander Tactical, a Commander Engineering, a Science Lieutenant with Command, a Intel Lieutenant Commander Universal, and then an Ensign Universal. For the Cardassian Flight Deck Carrier, you have Lieutenant Commander Tactical, Commander Engineering / Intel, Lieutenant Commander Engineering, Lieutenant Science, and Ensign Universal with Intel. Looking at them both, which one would I say is better? Well, let me go ahead and just do a little thing I like to do from time to time to make it easier comparison. Boom. Do a little snippet, make it smaller, put them closer to each other, and then there we go. Let's see. Honestly, I would have to give it to the Cardassian flight deck carrier. Now hear me out. Reason being, you can literally have the Intel Engineering be nothing but Uncon procs. And I mean nothing but Uncon procs. Hold on, wait, no. Let me think about it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, either way, you can still have 8 Uncon procs for both. I would just say that this one might have a little bit more variety, I guess you could say. Now, when it comes to the temporal ones, well, like I said, the Temporal Heavy Dreadnought Cruiser is a... Oh, what do I want to call it? It's an honorable mention. Let's go ahead and throw that one up there. And let's go ahead and close this window. Close this, and grab the Legendary. Friendship, is this one? No, this one's Intel. Oh, I forgot about the Friendship. Uh-oh. Honestly, the Friendship kind of sucks compared to the other ones. Well, no. But yeah, because you're only, like, you can technically just run, like the 2 Universals as tactical, then run, like, Beamfire at Will 3, then... No. Yeah, the Friendship Radar Proceeding does kind of blow. Not saying it's a bad ship, just with how I like to do my builds now with, you know, Oncon, it kind of blows. I would have to play with it, but I don't own one. So let's go ahead and compare the temporal. Alrighty. So you have the legendary Constitution Temporal Flight Deck Carrier, which is from the 10th anniversary bundle. And you have the Universal Temporal Heavy Dreadnought Cruiser. Now, obviously the difference is one is an R&D promo ship, which also has a Muds Market bundle as well. It's in one. And then you have the 10th anniversary bundle, which it was on the Zen store recently, which I meant to actually make a video on it. It's already gone? Oh my gosh. It's already gone. I was about to make a video about that. I am so sorry. But I was still busy. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and open up these windows. Alright, let's go ahead and compare the two ships. So, they both have a Lieutenant Tactical, which does kind of blow. But the difference is this one has a universal seating that's temporal, and this one has a universal seating that is command, so you still get to do what you need to do. With the temporal engineering, you can literally just run all Oncon procs with that. It has an ensign engineering, which I would just run emerged powder engines with, or emerged powder aux, one of the two, depending on what I'm feeling like. And then you have a Lieutenant Commander Science. Both these ships, believe it or not, if you look at it, are pretty similar. The only difference is Lieutenant Engineering, Lieutenant Science. So, I mean, 4 Oncon procs, 4 Oncon procs, 3 Oncon procs, with both of these 3 Oncon procs. So, you could do it. Yeah, they both have the same capability in terms of Oncon procs. Now, let's go ahead and look at the hull modifier. The J has a much bigger hull modifier, as it should. It's massive. The shield modifier is slightly better on the legendary Constitution Flight Deck Carrier. The turn rate is better on the legendary Flight Deck Carrier. However, it does feel like it doesn't because of how small it is. This, believe it or not, size can feel a lot different when it comes to turn rate. It's interesting. Impulse modifier. Constitution moves faster. Let's face it, it's nowhere near as big, so it definitely shouldn't. All right. For the inertia, the legendary Flight Deck Carrier has a much greater inertia. That is interesting. I didn't know that. I never talked about device slots, but I'm not really one that really uses devices all that much. But 4 devices on Constitution, 3 devices on the Heavy Dreadnought. But of course, when you X2 it increases by 2. For those that do not do Oncon builds, the legendary Constitution Temporal Flight Deck Carrier has 3 tactical, 4 engineering, 4 science. For the Universe Temporal Dreadnought, doesn't matter which version you're using, whether it's the J, the Romulan, or the Klingon, it's going to be 4 tactical, 4 engineering, and 3 science. Both have 2 hangar bays. Now, another huge difference is the Heavy Dreadnought has a lance. Energy distributor accelerator. Wait, no, that's the console. Oh, there it is. Gravimetric lance. Sorry. Now, is this lance any good? Well, I really don't know. It's been a very long time since I've really flown my J or the Klingon equivalent, which I do own both. I mean, it's a lance, so I don't see why not. I mean, it doesn't hurt. So, as for their mastery, it looks like they're both slightly different. So, for the legendary Flight Deck Carrier, has the same as the other 2 that we talked about. Of course, you also have the legendary trait, but that's something completely different. We're just talking about the level 1 through 4 mastery. Same as the Herald flight deck carrier and the Cardassian flight deck carrier, exactly the same. Now, the Temporal Dreadnought, Heavy Dreadnought, has something completely different. The first one's the same, depth of hull plating, and it does have quick deployment, but it's at its tier 2 slot. So the new thing that they added instead is, obviously there's two completely different. For their level 3, it's armored hull, 10% hull hit points, and then rapid repairs regenerates 1.25% of your maximum hull every 3 seconds of space, twice the amount when you're out of combat, which they have at tier 2. So the only thing that's really different is you don't have enhanced hull plating, you just have 10% additional hit points. Now, as for the traits, honestly, I've never used either of these traits. But repair mode for the it is actually a pretty solid tanking trait for sure. Now, both of them have the temporal mechanic. So, whenever you activate offensive mode, you gain engine power, turn rate, flight speed, but you lose healing. Defensive mode, you gain shield and incoming hull, but you lose turn flight speed. For support, max ox, exotic damage, and control strength, but you lose energy weapon damage. For uncon builds, like any one of these will work out in your favor. And they have a scaling physical DOT, heals, hull, and disable. You hit a teammate, heals hull, you hit an opponent, adds a DOT and disables. So like I stated, both of them have the temporal command engine, a temporal commander engineering seat with a lieutenant commander universal. One's temporal, one's command. One thing that the Heavy Dreadnought does not have is the cruiser commands. From what at least this is saying. I don't really remember. Because again, I don't fly the J all that often. But they both have 2 hangar bays, which these frigates are insanely underrated. I do have to say, they are really strong. I have them. They're great. Another honorable mention is the Miracle Worker and the Legendary comes with the Advanced Phaser Beam Arrays, and the D7 comes with the Disruptor variants. So, but if you own either of them, you get access to both through the Dill store, but you get a lot. So, keep that in mind. So that's it for the temporal, as far as I am aware, unless I'm missing one. Am I missing one? I don't think I'm missing one. No, those are the only 2 temporal style. The rest of them are basically command primary. So at that point, it would just be like which one has the better secondary seating or which one has the better bridge officer layout. So, let me see. Yeah, look, most of them are command primary. That's kind of wild. So when it comes to command, if you're not running a torp boat and it's actual command seating, my recommendation is run Suppression Barrage 3. Because Suppression Barrage 3 applies a debuff to things that you're shooting at, to where the things you're shooting at does less damage, which is huge for like team play. And as you can see, all of them can use cannons, which is actually kind of awesome. I don't have the Voth T6. I have the T5, I just don't have the T6. I only own one of the Zen ships, which is the Federation Tellurite one, just because I think it looks really cool. Both the Romulan Suliban and the Klingon Orion. Wait, where is it? Yeah, they have cloak, which the Federation one does not. Now, one thing that would have been cool is, granted they only did this fairly recently, technically, is the turrets on the Orion. If they, like, turned to target the thing that you're targeting would be absolutely awesome. Last time I looked, they didn't do that. But it's possible that they may have added that to the game after they added the Emerald Chain Juggernaut, which I actually do like that ship. I actually memed and named mine the Super Failed Destroyer. Leave me alone. I have no originality, obviously. But yeah, I mean, I would definitely say flight deck carriers / the Temporal Heavy Dreadnought Cruiser are amongst the best ships in the game because of the fact that it's 5.3 or 4.4 with 2 hangar bays. Also, there's not very many of them. Like I said, I own 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I own 8 of them out of the many that you see here. I do not own the Friendship, so I can't really say anything about that one. I own the Tellurite one, so I can basically say they're all 3 of them work exactly the same. The only difference is these ones have cloak. I do not own the T6 Voth Rampart. Wish I did. I love the Voth ships. I do own the Orion Marauder flight deck carrier. I think it's hilarious looking, and I would love to fly it more, but its tactical seating is not much to be desired. And then the Orion flight deck carrier, it has the fact that it has 2. That is interesting. I would love to get T6 versions of these Orion ships. I'm not gonna lie. It's a 4.4. Does it have the same? Oh my gosh, they're literally identical. Are you kidding me? 2 tactical, Lieutenant Tactical Commander and Lieutenant Commander Engineering, Lieutenant Science and Ensign Science. Wow. Only difference is, see the hull modifier. There's no hull modifier on this thing? Why? By the way, 2 hangar bays. So if you like flying old ships like I do on occasion, I mean, I do on occasionally run T5U ships. I mean, heck, I even X2'd the Tholian Mesh Reaver just for lulz. Huh. Wait a minute. Let me see something. Can I see them here on... Or do I have to go to ESD? It looks like I have to go to ESD to look. Well, poo. Huh. Well, I lost all train of thought. Well, I mean, I definitely would label flight deck carriers to be amongst the best. I still don't have a decision on what the best class of ship is. Like I have always stated, depends what you're going for. If I were to say what ship in the game I would consider is like the best, well, I mean, Ark Royale. Reason why I'm saying Ark Royale is because it's literally the only carrier in the game that has a secondary deflector, which also has 2 hangar bays. So it's... yeah, it's the most unique ship, just because of the fact that it has the secondary deflector. Now imagine if they were to make this like a 4.2 carrier. That would, yeah, that'd been game over right there. But yeah, flight deck carriers are amongst the best in the game because of the versatility you can do with them, the fact that they have 8 weapons, 2 hangar bays, and you can just do a lot with them, and they come in many different shapes and sizes and flavors. Intel, Miracle Worker, Temporal, Command. If there is a build you want to do, you can do it with the flight deck carrier. Now, with that being said, if you're going with the science build, you are missing out on a secondary deflector, so then at that point I would just say if you want to do a science build with the carrier, go with the Ark Royale. I mean, come on. Anyway, that's the end of today's video. I know this is a long one. Appreciate you all for coming in, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Bye-bye. God bless.